Okay, well, I'm going to kick everything off. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So glad you all could join us today. In this session, you all will be getting the information on recent product enhancements and updates made in 2022 for DaySmart Recreation. Toward the end of the webinar, we will open up the floor for questions. But if you happen to have questions before then, please feel free to put them in the question box down below. You should be able to see that in your dashboard. And our hosts will try their best to answer them at the end of our session. Please note that the webinar will be recorded and a recording of the webinar will be sent to all of you later this week. So please keep your eyes on your inbox. And from there, I will let our two hosts introduce themselves so we can get started. So thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. Hopefully, I am not a new face for you since I was on the last webinar for the camp one. I'm really excited to join again, but for those of you that do not know me, I'm Angel, obviously work for DaySmart Recreation. I used to be in the same position as a lot of you, working directly in the facilities, so definitely have a lot of knowledge in terms of how to use the software in real lifetime. When I worked in a facility, we also used it back when it was Dash, and obviously now DaySmart Recreation, and then transitioned to the DaySmart side. Used to be an onboarder, so on the training side of things, and now I am on client success side. So some of you probably see me pretty often, and others I may not see as much yet, but happy to be here and working with my partner in crime, Christy, so I'll let her give an introduction as well.
Hey everybody, I have been here for, I've been with the software for about 15 years. And then prior to that, kind of like everybody else with our team, I also worked with doing youth league stuff and camps and front desk stuff, you name it. I kind of did it prior to coming working on the software part of it. And it's really helped us as a team be able to be in your shoes and kind of relate to our customers really well. So, and now I kind of still have the jack of all trades. I help with a little bit with billing and testing, and now I'm doing enterprise support and helping customers out, doing these webinars. So super excited to help you out, and I'm happy to tell you everything that we've been doing the last couple of quarters and what we have upcoming, all that fun stuff. So
Can I jump in real quick, Christy? One thing I was going to say is with the DaySmart acquisition, one thing we've added is a client success department. So this is where these webinars are coming from. This is not a one-time thing. We plan on doing these a couple times a year as we start to have more updates. We want to make sure we're doing our due diligence to keep you informed on what's going on. We know you guys have a lot happening at all times, so trying to be as communicative as possible. And Christy and I will usually be the ones heading these webinars up. But just keep in mind there will be some other ones that we'll be doing throughout the year as well. So just keep an eye on your inbox because this will be a continuing thing. All right, Christy, back to you.
Back to me. All right. So, oh yeah, that's us, by the way. And so for today, we have a bunch of features listed here on our things that we're just going to kind of briefly touch on. We're not going to dig deep because then we'd be here for hours and then you guys wouldn't get your work done. So that's not very helpful. So we're just going to just touch on these. And then, like we said before, if you have questions, be sure to join on the chat and ask those questions there. So this is just a brief little overview. So this one is actually one that I'm pretty excited about because it's something that we've needed to be able to be better at, and it's something that you guys have been telling us to be better at. So if you didn't notice, every once in a while you'll see a little, when you log into the system, you'll see this little red bubble over the question mark to the left of your little profile. And what that actually means is that we have updated our what's new help article. And so that means something was pushed out and we're trying to tell you, hey, go look at it. So that is something that we've added a little while ago, and that was something that I was really excited about. So that's what the what's new part is. And the next one, these ones I'm gonna kind of show you in person because they're kind of bigger updates. So I'm gonna switch real quick.
And while Christy's switching, I'm going to add one thing. With the what's new, we also are doing that in conjunction with in-app notifications. So at times, if you see a big pop-up take over your screen, we're trying to tell you something is either going to be coming or it has already come out as well. Just another way to be a little in your face about some new stuff. Christy is the best at saying, hey, we need to let our customers know this is coming. We cannot just push this out. So we are doing multiple things to try to make sure we're over communicating to all of you.
Every once in a while, someone would be like, yeah, I got the blue screen, thanks. And I'm like, hey, you know what? We're just trying to let you know what's going on. So, okay, so the first one I want to go over for a new feature that we updated, but it's really an old page. If you knew about it, it was called the event search page. And what we did is we really kind of beefed it up because obviously it was a search page before, and now you can use that same search function and then edit events. So it's kind of a big deal, but not everybody's using it, and we're hoping you'll start using it more. So that's our little push, people. So to be able to use it, the first things you have to do is figure out what you're trying to aim for. What are you searching for? So you can do that by either searching by dates, a date range, and then pulling all the events you want to do that way. You can do resources. You can do a season if you're trying to get a bunch of events in a particular season. You can even do by event types. So in this case, just for this demo, I just picked a few months ago, and by the way, this is test demos, so it's not real, and it doesn't have as much stuff as all your guys' stuff. So, but I didn't want to mess with any of your databases. So obviously it shows that I've got 22 events that are a public skate session, and the catch with the bulk event editor is you have to know what it is that you're wanting to edit. So that's where these search options come in. So if I know that I need to edit, for example, tasks or registration capacities, or if I want to change some staff around, then I need to show those. And then if I hit update search results, you'll notice that everything just kind of expands, and then it shows all of the results that you have now. So from here, you can choose what events that you want to adjust. You can click this button up here and it'll say, okay, I can adjust everything. Or if you just need to move a couple things, or you need to add a couple instructors, something like that, then you can just select the ones that you want. Then it's the edit events. Then you're brought up here. And then it says, here are the available options that you can do. If they're grayed out, it means that you can't do it, and you can't do it because you didn't search it. So that's the part of the knowing ahead of time what your goal is, or if you realize, oh crap, I meant to do something with the takedowns, then you can exit out and then go search it, and then it'll pop up, and then that thing's not gray anymore. So easy peasy, but it's just so you know that's what it means if you can't do it. So in this case, I could change a start time. I could move it back or forward. I could make the event longer or shorter. So the nice thing is that we're trying to make it easier for you to be able to do it all in one screen instead of having to go back to your calendar and then messing around and then not being a part of a series anymore or something like that. So this is amazing once you start using it, guys. So on here, I'm gonna say, oh, and I can also unpublish things. So I don't know if you guys sometimes have had to do that, like, like, oops, didn't mean to publish that. Like, let me go quickly unpublish it. So that's a great way to be able to use that.
All my public skate people and league people who accidentally publish stuff, I've been hearing this ever since I started training. So you guys better be taking notes and start using this.
Exactly. Capacities, like for the particular events, you may have realized, oh, by default it was set to unlimited, And oh gosh, you know what? I have two people that, you know, are out sick or whatever for this whole entire week. So I need to change my capacity to be only for 15 or something like that. So what it'll do is for these particular 3 events, it's going to change it to be whatever it was before to 15. I can also update staff. So let's say now I know for this particular season, I'm going to set an instructor for that particular season, the whole entire one. So I can say, all right, I'm going to say the instructor for this. I'm going to add, and it looks like, oh, Mari's going to be the lucky instructor to be able to do this one. So if I hit save, it's going to pop up and say, okay, here are the things that you're trying to change. Is this correct? So then you say, yeah, that sounds good. And then the blue highlight comes up and it says, here's what you just changed. So now we have a capacity of 15 on these, and you have the instructor set to Mari. So,
and one thing to note too is if you make any changes to time or date, like Christy mentioned earlier, it will do a conflict check like normal. So instead of just that one pop-up screen where it shows you are changing, making changes, it will actually show the conflict check, and you will check it and then save it. So just want to make sure for those of you that haven't used it yet, you do know that will still pop up.
Yep. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say about the bulk event editor. Obviously, the event search stuff that you've always done is still here. So, you know, game sheets and adding scores and all that is still here. So don't worry about that part. Anything else you wanted to add, Angel? Or?
No, I just, can you pop open the search options one more time just so everybody can kind of take a look at what's there? So we're not going to show all of them, but entering scores, setup and takedown, locker rooms, all that good stuff. So as Christy mentioned, all of the functionality that was already existing still exists. Some of it just might be moved a little bit. I know some people were in a panic when they first came to this page, but we didn't take anything away. We just added. So definitely start using this. Give us feedback. Let us know what you think.
I just remembered something. Also, the show custom form data can be pretty handy for some events that you show. If you are actually asking questions on your events and stuff, and if you have a custom form already pre-populated, and you want to be able to pull up a day's worth of birthday parties and whatever events that you have, and you need to be able to print that off, that's a really handy checkbox there too. So
yeah, absolutely. And the last one too, now that you mention it, show team names and notes. We did not have that on this page before. So for my league directors who are trying to move games around and shift and adjust, I feel your pain. I know how it goes. So this should make it a little bit easier because you can see the team notes right on this page as well if you're trying to make changes to the game times. So if anybody put in requests.
Yep. Okay. So that was that one. The next one we're going to talk about is what we call the first version of quick tickets. So the reason why I call it the first version is because it's limited in the sense that it is really made for the one-off type of events that are like bulk tickets. So it's where you don't care about a waiver right now. You need to buy 10 tickets for family, friends, and it's only being purchased by one person, and you don't need any of the data for the other 9 people. So that's what this feature release was specifically for. And to be able to access it, you go to the drop-in events for the member app. And again, this is the member side of things. So this is them signing up for it. And the beautiful part of this is that on the admin side, you didn't have to set up a season, you didn't have to set up a level, a roster. It is a calendar event. And basically people are registering online through here to a specific calendar event. So that's the cool part of it. There's not all the setup and all that. But like I said, it's still V1 because we are still working on and making improvements and all that stuff. But so to show you, let's say we've got an ice show and my son is going to be a star ice skater. and I want to invite 10 friends and family to go see him skate. And right here it says that one person is already registered and it's got a capacity of 25 because it's a small ice show, by the way. And I'm going to go ahead and hit add to cart, item added to cart. And you'll notice right away, oh, it's not asking me my, all the family members and all that stuff because it's the quick ticket. So it's already saying, here's your credit card, pay me money, and I can check out and it's done. That's how easy it is. And then on the admin side of it, I'm just gonna refresh real quick. Now, the customer actually receives a receipt that has a QR code. So if you do digital check-ins, the person could digitally check in and then they're all ready to go. And I'll show you what the calendar event actually looks like. And if you come click here, and if you go to roster, this is how this particular new calendar event roster will show. It gives you the ability to see who is registered, how many guests actually paid, and then obviously payment and invoice stuff. But the key thing is the check-in part. So if I go to check in, a little modal will appear and it'll say, okay, how many people are checking in with you? Because I might not have 10 people that fit in my car because I don't have a bus, but I will have, let's say, 5 people that are checking in right now at this moment, and I could check them in. So that's the cool thing with the quick tickets. Anything else that you think I'm missing there, Angel?
Am I invited to the show? That's what I was curious about. No, the only thing I was going to say was just give some examples. So people are using this for ice show admission was just one example. Maybe you have like an arts and crafts drop in or a parents night out where you're not necessarily needing waivers beforehand. So different things like that is what this feature is meant for. And then as Christy mentioned, there will be a V2 where we're looking to close some of the gaps in terms of being able to collect waivers and do add-ons and different things like that.
Yeah. So while I'm in the system, the last little part that I wanted to be able to show you updates on, and this was actually a more recent. I know we said it was going to be 2022, but this one was just kind of cool and easy to show. So this was maybe just last week. For different rosters, we have the ability to have these filters up here now. So this is a per session kind, so like AKA what we used to call camps. And it has the ability to show different events. So if I wanted to see on December 26th who's coming, what their status is, then we can display that in this drop-down filter. By default, it will always be all events. So we just wanted to make sure that that was what we've always done. So we're going to keep that consistent. You can also, let's say you have a really big roster, because we have some people that have really big rosters, and then a customer comes up to you and asks a question and you don't feel like trying to thumb through and try to find them on the roster, then you can just go, oh, what's your name? Oh, it's Fairy Godmother. Okay, here we go, Fairy Godmother. I can pull you up and then see what your stuff is right there, and I can add a new event for you if you want to. So that was the filtering abilities. The team one doesn't have events, obviously, because you don't need to pay per event for a team. And so it's a little bit different for team versus class versus per session. And then the other part of this was we added at the same time, this is the sign-in roster, and just in case you didn't know how to get there, you drop this down, and then we added this sign-in roster report, which is essentially the roster report, but it just takes you straight to this little toggle right here. That's the sign-in roster. And we added a new column called status, and it will basically show you whether they're paid or unpaid. And that is definitely important. Let me go back to all events. Oh, I'm still in Fairy Godmother here. if they have a payment schedule or if they are partially paid or whatnot, it's still considered unpaid to them, to us, I guess you would say. So just so you understand, unpaid means they have a balance. They still owe money of some sorts. So that's what that unpaid really means. So that is the updates with the rostering stuff. Do you think anything else that you would like to add on that one?
One more thing we're going to add to this page, or we have requested to our team to add to this page. If you go back to that roster report, we are going to also ask them, instead of just paid and unpaid, to also put in there if someone used a pass to pay instead. So that is not a change that's come out yet, but we have asked for it just for our people that do sell passes. We know there are some of you that would like to see whether it was paid with a pass versus cash card or unpaid. So just know that is something that we are looking to add down the road.
Perfect. Okay, so I am gonna move this over here again, and we're back to my presentation. Okay, so the invoice adjustments, you probably noticed a little change, a little hype that we did a while ago.
I hope they noticed this is in bold red now. It was not colored before.
So what this change was is that anytime with a booking manager event, if you edit a fee or if you delete a fee, before, well, if you're new, you might not realize this, but before, what would happen is that all the edits would be put all the way down at the bottom and then get lost. So what we decided to change was have the edit, first of all, be red, because then it stands out, and then also have it be right underneath the one that was originally scheduled. So for example, in this shot, I deleted this particular event on, I can't remember what date it was. Anyway, I deleted the event. And then this particular example and this one, they're tied together. So here, what I did is I just changed the event time and length. And so what that does is that it is saying, all right, well, we are reversing the original $50 one because that's what the original fee was. And then because it's longer, we're charging $100. So the whole point of this is that we are trying to make our booking invoices and invoicing better. And this was just the first part of this series of changes that we're going to be doing. And I'm sure Angel will talk a little bit about what all we're planning on doing, but this was just the first step.
Yeah, I'll sneak that in at the end.
Okay. To be continued. All right, membership updates. So with the membership updates, we added a couple of, actually we added 3, I think is probably the best way to say it, 3 different things that you can now do with memberships. The first one, if you'll notice when you pull up a membership, is that we added this billing cycle. So this allows you to have a annual membership, but you want to bill it monthly, and it will actually set up a payment schedule for the customer, like a preset already, you don't have to do anything, preset payment schedule. So that's the billing cycle part of it. And the next one that we did was being able to cap memberships, the family membership, because right now everything has always been unlimited. Like you can have all your family members that are on your account have this family membership, yay, but not everybody likes that. So this gives you the flexibility of being able to choose what you want to do for your family memberships. Lastly was the adult membership. Some people wanted to have it be that only adults can do a family membership, so just like a partner membership, and the kids are not, they don't get to be part of that. Sorry, kids. So I wanted to show you kind of how it looks like on the online side to your customers. And I hope you can see this okay. So the adult only membership, I'm logged in and obviously I'm an adult. So this looks like and it'll say adult only membership, and it has a max of 1. We added these new icons, these little fancy icons. If it has like this little groupie kind of hug kind of thing, it means it's a family membership. And then it also, if it's capped, it will say what the max number is. So this is a max number of 2. And if it has a billing cycle attached, it will explain to the customer what the billing cycle is. So that's kind of what that part is. And then over here on the right-hand side is Jordan, who is my dog, and he's still a baby, so he does not qualify for that adult-only membership, and so it does not appear for him. So that's kind of an example of that part of it. Anything else that you can think of?
Nope, crushed it.
All right, invite a partner kind of like snuck in at the same time we did the memberships. What this is that when you're creating a new account, you have the ability to click this little button that says invite a partner when registering, and then you can fill out the partner's name and phone number and all that jazz, and then the partner will receive, oh well, I forgot about this part. So the person that was creating the account here, oh, I can't go back. Anyway, the person that was creating the account, oh, maybe I can't be sneaky. I can't be sneaky. The person that was actually creating the account, they will go to fill out their waiver, and then when they go to fill out the waiver, they can't fill out their partner's waiver, but they'll see that it says invited. So, but then when the person receives, their partner receives an email like this saying, hey, you know, so-and-so has invited you to be a partner on their account. Go ahead and confirm your profile. They have to answer just a couple little questions, get their password set up, and then boom, they're in the system and they're connected to the other person that was invited them, and it's awesome. Trying to think. Oh, and they also, if you do waivers, they obviously have to fill out their waiver as well. So that is the invite partner one.
And like, that's a big one, Christy. I don't know if people understand that. New customers, you guys are going to be spoiled with this, but that's a big one, because before you could only create yourself and your children, and then your partner had to create it separately, and then the facilities are the ones that had to join it together. So these are the things we talk about that we want to make sure we're streamlining processes and taking time off of y'all's plates. We know that you guys are doing any and everything under the sun when working in a sports facility. So these are the types of changes that we want to continue to work on.
Yes, this saves you guys a lot of time having to then merge them and then connect them and all this stuff. So this is good. This was also something more recent. People had told us that they did not like the idea of customers being able to export teams online. We have had that since the day of time, just so you know, like as long as I remember. So it was interesting to hear other customers' opinions about not being able to do that. And you know, I think the reasoning is that sometimes you do have to go chase money and chase teams down and all that stuff. So it cuts down on having to do that. So what we did is on the season settings, we now have a new checkbox that says basically, and by default it's checked just because by default we try to keep the same thing the same as it always been. But if you don't want your teams online to be able to export their past rosters to a new roster, then you can uncheck this, and then they will not be able to do it any further. Anything else that you can think of about this tricky?
Nope, I think that's a good one. I know certain people were really looking for that one, so hopefully that helps a lot.
That was a good one to push out. I think people were really happy about at least having more flexibility. I think that's what a lot of people like, is just, hey, you know, we all don't do it like XYZ. We want to do it like ABC. So there you go. Toggles, toggles, toggles. All right, Angel, past report updates. This is her baby.
I'll take this one. So our pass report was very minimal before, like very minimal. I think there was 2 columns on here before we added some changes. So now on the pass report, on the left-hand side, you can filter by date range if you need to, but that is also not required. So you can run it for all time. I will caution you, if there are a lot of people with remaining passes, this will take a little bit to load, just because some of you have been open for as long as we've had passes. So just keep that in mind. If you know you have a lot of people who have not redeemed their passes and this list is long, you probably want to put a date range in there. Customer ID, you can now filter by customer as well if you just want to see all the passes for one specific person. We added the option for pass filtering, so you can either look at one single pass, or you can multi-select to see a few, or you can leave it blank and show all of them. And then we included some additional checkboxes. So the ability to include revenue, the ability to only show expired passes, and the ability to show invoice. So if you notice everything in red to the right, in the right box, those are all of the new columns. So that was one of the things we kept hearing, is like, we just want to see the financials on this report too. And so bada bing, here we are. You got the financials and you have the invoices. So if you do need to search for the invoices, you can use the global search and you can grab the number from the right and look it up. But at least it's listed there, and hopefully makes things a little more clear from a financial aspect. And I know people are using this for multiple reasons, to see expired ones that may have not been redeemed, and people are complaining that they missed the window and want to redeem it, or you know, just being able to see the financials or any of the things that you could already do. So again, this is an already existing report. We just add a little pizzazz to it.
Perfect. All right, guys. That's all that we have for the presentation part of it.
Yes. Let's get to some of the questions. So, first one, are we able to require full payment upfront instead of letting customers do a payment schedule? Do you want to answer? Do you want me to answer?
Payment upfront for what in particular?
They didn't say, but really anything you can require full payment. So you guys pick and choose what you want to charge. So like if you are paying in full or are doing the payment schedule is an opt-in option. So that's up to you guys on the back end to set up. So if that's not set up, then they would be required to pay in full.
Yeah, basically the payment schedule is only set up at the season. So if you're not wanting that to be an option, then you wouldn't turn it on.
Exactly. All right, for quick ticketing, how are add-ons such as rental skates handled both in purchase and in check-in? Want me to take this one since conversations?
Yes.
So for quick ticketing, as Christy mentioned, this is a V1 version. You guys know what I'm trying to say? The first version. So this one does not include add-ons. So that's one of the things when we are working on version 2 that we have on our list to make sure we close that gap to include. So currently that is not part of quick ticket, but that will be coming when we make some additional changes.
Yeah, we know that public skate is a huge push for wanting to use quick ticketing, so you know yes.
I'll probably take this one too if you don't mind. Can we get the ability to restrict memberships by age?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are definitely pushing for that one. We hear you. So first step was the adult only. So we have one age restriction type thing, but yes, on our requests for more membership changes, we are going to ask if there is a way that we can implement maybe an age range or something like that. We understand people have like senior memberships and youth memberships and everything in between. So that is definitely on our list of things that we're looking for. All right, sorry, as you guys are adding more, it's popping me down to the bottom and I'm trying to get to the ones at the top. Okay. Is there any way to get training on the Jasper reports? Absolutely. You guys just need to reach out to support. And if you're requesting training, then we can get you set up with that. And they'll usually link you with the onboarding lead, and then we kind of go from there. Training is $125 per hour. Now, depending on what your questions are, you may or may not need it. If it's just like a quick question that we can answer with a video or a Help Center article, we'll obviously start there. And then if you do need additional training, we can work with you on that. Anything you want to add on there, Christy?
No, I know that there's so many Jasper reports.
So many.
I need a whole day to be able to train on the Jasper reports. But yeah, they're pretty cool, but they're pretty massive too. So yeah,
yes.
I get it.
And Christy had a phenomenal idea, because we are looking to do more webinars for our internal customers in terms of showing setup of things and maybe just having some refreshers. So reporting was one that Christy was instantly like, hey, let's have a reporting webinar. So stay tuned, that will be happening at some point. We haven't picked a date because we'll probably be doing a league one first, but that is on our radar that we will do one at some point. Does Dash allow, guys, we're DaySmart Recreation. I have to remind you, no more Dash. Does Dash allow Tap or Apple Pay? We do not at this point. If you have the card readers though, you can tap to pay, but like in person, but that is the only thing we have right now. It's not to say that we won't add that in the future. We have had discussions about it, but it is not in the near horizon. So please don't quote me and say you saw this webinar and Angel said we're getting it. It is in discussions and we are looking into the options. Any progress on manual waiver signing? For example, allowing them to sign it before it expires, like when it expires a couple days into a new season.
I haven't heard that one yet. I just know that you can like, no, yeah, I mean you can delete a, yeah, no.
We haven't heard that one, so we will submit that request for you. So that is one we will definitely make sure we get in there for you. And so just so everybody knows, in case you're not aware, when we're talking about submit requests, you can submit a request, a feature request to our team. And the way that process works is Christy and I, along with the rest of the services team, so everybody from support and onboarding and client success, we all get together every other week. We look at all the requests. We see if it's something that basically benefits the majority, if it's possible, and things that we can actually do. And then once we filter through that list, we, one of the Zachs, so anyone who talks to support knows there's two Zachs, and one of them meets with me and the product team, and we go through the filtered requests, and then we get a better idea if it's truly possible, because we are coming from a, yeah, we work with the clients, we think this could work, but we also have to talk to the devs who actually know the code and are like, it's not as simple as that. So it is a big process in terms of making sure we're filtering through and putting things in an order that makes sense. And so one of the changes we did this year is we added a product owner and a product manager. And it's been very helpful because they are very client focused and they understand the requests that are being asked. They work very closely with Christy and I when we're having conversations with staff, when we're having conversations with everybody in our meetings that we're meeting client-wise. And so we're really filtering through the feedback that everybody is giving and trying to make sure we're implementing it in the order that makes the most sense. So that has been a very big change for us this year in terms of processes. And our product owner and product manager, they know I talk about them with the utmost respect. I think they're absolutely amazing. Shout out to Mike and Amanda. You guys are incredible. So just know you guys will start seeing even more progress in terms of how our procedures work with the requests that you're submitting to us. Sorry, that was a tangent I actually wasn't even meaning to go through, but there you are. You got a little extra from me. All right, let's go back to the question. So how does customized reporting work? I can see this being helpful for booking parties in particular. Would probably need clarity on the booking parties part. So if you ask that question, if you can just like follow up and say what you specifically meant by that. And then after the webinar, we'll take a look at all the questions that came in that we didn't get to. But customized reporting in general, we don't have right now internally in terms of like there's a report feature and you can just put whatever you want in there. We do have options for API access as well as what we call enterprise data reporting. And that basically, if you subscribe to that, there is a cost associated with it, but it does give you access to our data warehouse where you can partner with a tool like BI reporting. There's some other ones as well, like Tableau. People have whatever their preference is. And basically, you can pull out the data that you need to custom create your reports. So if that is something that you're interested in, I'll make sure that when this goes out to everybody afterwards, you can email me directly about that, and we'll get you set up with the information for that side of things. There are some facilities that have started using it really heavily this year, and it has helped a lot with what they are specifically looking for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you want to add anything to that, Christy?
No, I just see a question that I want to pick on.
You do it.
All right, so it's because it's something that I know. So it's asking about the publish unpublished toggle, and we had a customer that had talked about how some events that were considered unpublished were appearing, and we have a bug ticket on that, and it was being pushed out yesterday, and then we realized that there was one small little piece where it was still showing. So that is now being fixed as of today, and so that should be fixed again and then pushed out, to answer your question.
Perfect. Thanks for taking that one.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, Christy has a good pulse of where we are with some of these bugs. She's on it. So when she sees it, she's like, hey guys, where are we with this? We need to get some movement. Okay, where else are we? We got that one. All right, so another quick ticketing one. Will there be an ability to do transactions in 2 different ways against the same event? For instance, want to register 1 person versus want to register 10 people. If I'm understanding correctly, no, they would just put 1 ticket instead of 10 tickets. If I'm understanding that correctly. If I'm not understanding that correctly, please follow up and we'll follow up with answer after the presentation. But yeah, they would just put a quantity of 1 versus a quantity of 10. Mm-hmm. Do you foresee having a prerequisite report that shows which prerequisites a participant has completed? If you are the person that emailed me about this today, yes, we are talking about it. Sorry, I did not get a chance to email back yet. But yes, we are talking about a prerequisite report. We are going to ask some people what kind of makes sense with that before we put in a request, just because I don't know what it is this week. I actually think I've gotten it 2 or 3 times. I've been asked by different people, which is very strange because it has not come up in however long I've been here. But yes, we will get some feedback on that so that we can put in a request for a prerequisite report. All right, so I'm going to pause there with the questions, unless there was any more, Christy, that you saw critical for right this second, just because I did want to talk through a couple of other things.
Yeah, I think we'll have to follow up with questions, the rest of the questions then.
Sounds good. So just wanted to give everybody a brief overview of a couple of other things that are coming in the pipeline. So when I say in the pipeline, there are some ones that are currently being worked on, and then there are some that are in the planning phase. So as we mentioned, Quick Ticket, that is one for a version 2. We are scoping out in terms of what's needed, what are the gaps we're missing, all that good stuff. So there will be a version 2 coming. We just have not started working on it yet. We are still on the scoping phase, just so you guys are aware. Quick event ad. This is one that I think, Christy, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is going to be a big one for a lot of people. This is where you can create multiple series of events a lot more streamlined. And so what I mean by that is when you go to add an event right now, or an event series, at the bottom, all you can do is press save, and then there is a way to kind of copy it by doing create similar event, but it doesn't copy kind of all the information that's in there. Now what we're going to do is when you go to save a series or an event, there will be an additional button that says save, and then you can do save and create new, or save and create similar. And so if you do save and create similar, it will take all of the information you already input, and then you can just make any adjustments that you need to, and it'll basically just condense what you've already created and just keep creating event series in the same screen, and then you can save them all at once. And so what this means is, let's just say I'm running a tournament and it's on 4 different resources. I can create my first series on field 1, and then I can save and create new and just change the resource so all the same times, all the same information is now going to be on resource 2, field 2. I can keep doing that until I'm, done with my series that I need, multiple series that I need to create. So that's just one example of how you can use it, but this should be a big time saver for people that are scheduling events on the calendar. Christy, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm excited to see what people think. Yeah.
I'm upset I'm no longer a program director. This would have saved me so much time. So I'm very jealous of all of you that get to take advantage of this tool, but definitely once it gets released, let us know what you think about it.
Yeah.
I'll hop back to the invoice stuff since you teased that a little bit, Christy.
Yeah.
So with booking invoices, this was basically a 3-part series. The first one, Christy already mentioned, was the adjustments that you saw with the red on the screen, etc. The next one is going to be condensed invoices. So a lot of people don't love seeing all the adjustments and a 10-page invoice. So we will be able to give the option that shows a condensed invoice. It's just a couple of line items, and you can send that out to your customers so that they don't see all of the adjustments and get confused or just don't care about seeing all the information. That does not mean your normal invoice is going away, because there are other people that do need all that information. So this will be an optional thing that you can use, and as well as what can be sent to the customer. Anything to add on that one?
No,
I'm so excited for that one. So that one is in the works right now. That one is actually being developed, just so you're aware. And then the third part, and I know the one that everybody is so amped for, is going to be multiple invoices within a booking. And so what that means is if I have a year-long booking, I will have the ability to say, okay, I want to invoice monthly and have a different invoice for each month or quarterly or whatever the time frame is. And then we are looking at also making it easier to add a payment schedule as well if you are automatically charging them. So kind of 2-part on this one. This one has not started yet. We're still scoping and speccing out exactly how it needs to look and the exact functionality. But that is the next one that is going to be worked on, and after the condensed invoice one gets pushed. Anything with that, Christy?
No.
Yeah, definitely excited for that one for sure. We have some reporting updates that are coming as well. So like we said, we'll look at that prerequisite one that we got a couple questions on. But just a little tidbit for anybody that is not currently assigning staff to events, if that is something that you are going to want to report on down the road, we are working on some retention reports. We are working on some more staff reports. So like how there is the instructor report for classes, we're going to see if we can get one created for per session. So just know there are some things that we are talking with the developers on to try to get you some better reporting in some of those areas that we might be lacking a little bit. The sales by per session report, that's the other big one that people are asking for. We have the sales by class and camp, but it doesn't do it by specific date. So we're trying to get something that gets a lot more granular for you, especially for those drop-in type of events. And then open availability report. This is one that has been in the works and has been highly requested. So we are working on it. We are looking to do it, so people are requesting this for several reasons. One, you want to be able to pull the available resources and times and all that to be able to send to customers to book space. So that's one use case for it. And then another use case that honestly, Christy, I didn't even think about until this came up in a conversation 2 weeks ago. Someone said that they want to be able to basically audit their space with this so that they can see if, let's say I pull for the next year and I see that on Mondays at 6 p.m. I don't have, or I have one field open. Oh, let's just go ahead and throw a class in there and see if we can get that up and running. Or let's add another public skate in there so that I can see if we can get that up and running. So people are wanting it for two very different reasons, one for planning purposes and one for booking purposes. So we are trying to get that one done and out the door, but it will require some pretty heavy testing just to make sure it's pushing everything the right way. So no, that is coming. No, there is not a time frame. So please don't email me asking for a time frame, but it is coming. We are working on it. Now it is getting developed, not in the planning phase.
Yes.
And those are the main ones. Did I miss anything, Christy?
No, I don't think so.
All right, awesome. So just as a reminder, we are going to continue to run these webinars. This one specifically we'll be doing probably twice a year, depending on how many things get pushed out. Maybe we'll sneak one in there if it's necessary. But other than that, as Christy mentioned, her favorite new tool is the little what's new notification. So make sure you're keeping track of that. And then make sure you're keeping track of emails from us because we do have webinars coming pretty frequently now. So some of them are a little more broad in terms of this is best practice for X, Y, and Z. And then some of them might be more training based in a sense, so seeing the setup of something. And then other ones will be like this. So we are really excited to continue the series that we have going on. It won't always be Christy or I, so sorry. I know we can be super entertaining, but we're going to spread the love to the whole team. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll pass it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies. You guys are always great, as usual. I was hard at work in the background trying my best to answer all of your questions, but if we haven't gotten to them, don't worry. We'll try our best to answer them in our follow-up emails. So please keep your eyes on your inbox in a few days. We will be following up with questions, answers to your questions, and a recording of this entire webinar. I know Angel and Christy mentioned future webinars that are happening. We do have a webinar about prepping for leagues with DaySmart Recreation. We will be including more information and an invitation to register for that one as well. And that will also be included in the follow-up email. So that's all I have. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.